What freedoms do you think the United States has taken away under the premise of national safety?
I'm most fearful of our freedom of speech. I guess that's what I'm most worried about happening, and in the name of searching through all our electronic correspondence in the name of national security and fighting terrorism, and then now demonizing the media, I most fear freedom of speech being taken. I mean, there are other freedoms that people are, find very dear and cherished, but that's my personal one that I think we need to guard.
In terms of personal freedoms, I believe our freedom of speech, our freedom of communication in general, has been taken away primarily because of the guys with terrorism, that they have to monitor what we say, how we say it. I think also the fact that anything we said or did even years ago now becomes guilt by association.
Obviously, one of the hot topics right now in our political arena, it has to do with immigration. That doesn't necessarily affect any of my freedoms, but it certainly is impacting freedoms of people that are living in this country. But again, I don't feel like my personal freedom has been impacted by that. I have not had any issues in travel. I do know that there are some things probably going on that most of us are not aware of as it relates to the electronic devices and the monitoring of phone calls and email transmissions. But once again, I don't feel like any of my freedoms have been impacted, although I'm not one that's trying to hide anything either. So there are some privacy issues going on in our country with our government being able to spy and intercept messages and things, especially those that they consider to be of some type of threat to national security.
Do you think the government should have this power to take it away?
Well, I'm all about protection and being able to live in a country where you feel safe. I have had the opportunity to travel to some countries where they did not have the same types of protections, and having been in a country where once upon a time we were confined to our quarters for a week because of violence in the streets in direct protest of some U.S. policies. I'm grateful for the securities and the safety that I do feel that comes from the U.S. government. So, your perception and your perspective can change based on your experiences. So, if the average person hasn't gone to a place where they felt unsafe, then maybe they would, not think that the government should be doing some of the things that they do. I know that our government does a whole lot of things that we may be unaware of still.
We have First Amendment for a reason. No, I think there's very limited instances when we can restrict people's speech, and that First Amendment's pretty unambiguous.
No.
Do you think there should be a balance between personal freedoms and government limitations?
I guess there has to be a balance because of the general welfare of everybody, but I think it needs to be fair and equitable regarding all venues, all situations, and I don't know if that could ever work, not in this country.
I think there always has to be a balance, and our government has always existed on the premise of checks and balances. Now, are those checks and balances always done in an ethical fashion? Very possibly no. but yeah, I mean, there has to be some balance, and there has to be limitations to everything.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we shouldn't have the right to cause chaos and everything, but I don't see speech as being that. But I think there's room for regulation of some behavior and some freedoms. I mean, we shouldn't be free to take weapons onto an airplane when we travel, and you know what I mean? So I think there's reasonable limits to a lot of things. So, I mean, yeah, there's room for compromise.
Do you think censorship is the best solution to control freedom?
No. Censorship is the direct result of tyranny or oppression.
I'm not sure there is a very good solution to that.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
If my big thing is, freedom of speech, definitely not.
If you could recommend an effective way to find a balance between restricting freedom and power, what would it be?
Well, no matter what, the people need to be involved in this decision. I mean, through constitutional amendments or whatever, there should be a very high hurdle to doing this, and there should be lots of, not just government oversight, court oversight, legislative oversight. Everyone needs to check out, like, the whole checks and balances thing should be fully employed, not partially, like extra employed. I don't know how the right way to put it, but
I don't know if it's possible. I think the problem we run into is we want to restrict some freedoms under the notion that it will protect everybody, but the more they try to protect us, the less we're free. And at this stage in our society, we're giving away so much information that if they censor it or they restrict it, there is no freedom in this country.
I don't know that I could come up with a more efficient way.